Okay, so today we are going to start with um, algebra. So this is chapter 5 in book 2 and a revision of chapter 15 in book 1. So you should have done chapter 15, like I've just finished it with my first year, so you should have done it kind of around this time last year, according to the plans. So I put these here. I know some of you don't have the book, so these would definitely need to be taken down. There's lots and lots of keywords in algebra, and it's kind of hard to communicate, like for me to communicate with you if you don't know them. Now, granted, you might be like, oh my god, don't remember them, but that's fine. We'll go through them, like. So these are the ones that by the end of the chapter you need to know. Most of these you should already know, and just you can see here revision of material for Maths 1. So these are the ones you should already know. So an algebraic expression is an expression that contains one or more numbers, one or more variable terms, and may also contain one or more constant terms. Okay, so basically, like 4x plus 2y squared minus 11. Okay, something like that is an expression. The big thing about an expression is that it has no equals. If it had an equals, it would be called an equation. Okay, next thing is the term. Term is a product of a constant or any number of variables. Essentially, to make it as easy as possible, 4x is the first term in that expression. 2y squared is the second term in that expression. Let's change colour there. And minus 11 is the third term. So that expression has three terms. Is that alright? Variables are the letters. So again, if I stick with my example, my variables are x and y. They're the letters. Okay. Coefficient is a number that is multiplied by a variable. So again, in my example, the x, which is one of my variables, is being multiplied by 4. So we would say that 4 is the coefficient of x. And then we also have a y, it happens to be squared, and we would say that the coefficient of that y squared is 2. Okay, so the coefficient is the number in front of the letter, the number that's been multiplied by the letter. And then the last thing here is a constant. And a constant, it says it here, is a number by itself. So in my example, I only have one constant, and it's minus 11, because it's all by itself. All right, so they need to be taken down, obviously with notes, just like I've put at the side, and some of the stuff I've said. They're important, okay, and you do need to know them. So we'll have a look at evaluating algebraic expressions, brief look at the ordinary level. This you would have done last year, and then we'll have a look at kind of what happens when you go to higher level. Okay, so 2x minus 5 when x is 4. Okay, so for A, it becomes 2 and x is 4, so it's 2 bracket 4 minus 5. 2 bracket 4 is 8 minus 5, so that gives me an answer of 3 for part A. For part B, x is minus 3, so it becomes 2 bracket minus 3 minus 5. 2 times minus 3 is minus 6 minus 5, and that is minus 11. Okay, so that is, oh, I actually totally didn't say this. So what we're doing here is we're evaluating algebraic expressions. What evaluating means is find the value of, also sometimes known kind of flippantly, it wouldn't be kind of the proper name for it, but it's called substitution. Okay, and the reason it's called substitution is because you take a given number and you sub it in for a letter. Okay, and that's what I've done twice there. Okay, so what do they do when it becomes higher level? You can see here, they just make it messy and fractions and minuses and powers and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one. So it's c squared over c minus ab. Okay, so c is minus 6, so that's going to be minus 6 squared over c is minus 6, and then I have a minus, as in that minus there, and then a is minus 1, and b is 2. Okay, so now I didn't obviously teach you this last year, so I'm not 100% sure kind of what way you would have gone through it, but I'm just going to show you how I do it, and hopefully you'll be able to do it that way. So minus 6 squared, so to square something means to multiply it by itself. So I'd have 2 minus 6's and you multiply them. Okay? When you are multiplying and the signs are the same, you get a plus. Okay, so I'm multiplying and these signs are the same, so that's a plus, and 6 times 6 is 36. Okay? Now the bottom line. So the minus 6 is just there by itself. There's nothing before it, so I'm not multiplying it by anything, so it doesn't need the bracket, so it's just minus 6. Okay, I have this minus here, so I'm just going to write that down, and then I'm going to multiply these two together. So this is a minus. The fact that this has no sign means it's a plus. When the signs are different and you're multiplying, I suppose how do we know we're multiplying? Because brackets tell us we're multiplying. So I'm multiplying minus 1 by plus 2. The minus by the plus are different signs, and when you have different signs, that gives you a minus, and then 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. Okay, so the top line is 36. On the bottom line, my minus 6 is still there on its own. Now, this is a minus multiplied by a minus 2. Okay, there's an invisible, so on my wall in school I have loads of invisible maths. There is an invisible 1 there. Okay, so here we're multiplying minus 1 multiplied by minus 2. When the signs are the same and you're multiplying, you get a plus, and 1 times 2 is 2. So then one more line, and we have 36 over minus 6 plus 2. We're no longer multiplying, that is just addition subtraction, and that's minus 4. And then this 36 has no sign, which means it's a plus. When the signs are different, you get minus, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. Okay, so few things there. So you should know these, but just in case you don't, the multiply rules. So when you are multiplying, how do we know you're multiplying? There will either be a multiply sign or there will be brackets when you are multiplying. Okay? First situation, if the signs are the same, your answer is positive, and if the signs are different, your answer is negative. Okay, so there are your rules. Right, let's try this other one. Okay, so a cubed minus a squared c. So a cubed minus a squared c plus dc plus b. Right, so this is b. Right, so what was a? A is minus 1. So that's minus 1 cubed. This minus, then this is minus 1 squared. C is minus 6. Then this plus. D was a fraction, wasn't it? Yeah, minus a half. A negative fraction, even better. C is minus 6. And then plus, so I'm here. And B is a 2. Ugh. Right, so minus 1 cubed means 1, 2, 3 of them, and we multiply. Okay, So if you multiply these two first, so minus 1 multiplied by minus 1, that is a multiplication and the signs are the same, which means it's going to be a plus 1. And then I'm going to multiply that by this minus 1. So here the signs are different, which means I get a minus, and 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in a little bubble so that it kind of stays away. Okay, so that's how you do minus 1 cubed. So minus 1 cubed is minus 1. Now, this minus, which I'm just going to write down. Right, here, minus 1 squared. So that's going to be minus 1 multiplied by minus 1. The two minuses, I am multiplying the same signs, which means the answer is a plus. And 1 by 1 is 1. And then I have minus 6. Didn't do anything with that. Now, plus. Okay, so these two I can multiply. Alright, so I'm multiplying a minus by a minus. Those signs are the same, which means the answer is a plus. And a half multiplied by 6 is 3. And then I have my plus and my 2. Okay, let's go again. So the minus 1 is there by itself. I have a minus. Now I can multiply these two. So plus by minus, signs are different, brackets mean multiply. I'm multiplying different signs, which means the answer is a minus. 1 by 6 is 6, and then close that bracket. Now here, so again, this random sign with nothing in front of it means there's an invisible 1. Okay, so I'm multiplying plus 1 by plus 3. So signs are the same, and I'm multiplying, so signs are the same gives me a plus, and 1 by 3 is 3. And here, again, a random plus means there's an invisible 1 there. This 2 all by itself is a positive 2, so its signs are the same again, which means plus, and 1 by 2 is 2. Nearly there. So my minus 1 is there. Now here again, look, minus with nothing means there's an invisible 1. So now I'm multiplying minus 1 by minus 6. Signs are the same, so I get a plus. 1 by 6 is 6, and then I have plus 3 and plus 2. So I have finally gotten rid of all my brackets, which means you can just add this all up. So we'll do it step by step, I suppose. Minus 1 plus 6 is 5. Add another 3 is 8. Add another 2. The answer is 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple a little bit harder than this now, but a couple from the first year book, the ordinary level book, just so you can practice the rules. Okay, the rules are important. And then I'm going to give you 1, maybe 2 from the higher level book, because I suppose you really need to know what you're doing with the rules to be able to kind of navigate through something this complicated. But like anything in maths, the rules don't change. They just make the question a little bit more complicated. So spend a bit of time looking through this video. Make sure you understand how I'm doing all of those multiplications. And definitely give the higher level questions a good go. Okay, so give it a bit of time if you feel like do it, check the answer in the back of the book. If you got it wrong, try it a second time. Okay, because really and truly the only way to get good at these is just practice, practice, practice. Okay, these rules need to become second nature to you. All right, have fun with that.